Okay, there we go. Okay. Great. Right. Welcome to this webinar today. My name is Russell Davis, and I should get myself organised here. This is the Practical Digital Marketing webinar. As I say, my name is Russell, and I'm the director of Lobster. We're a digital marketing agency based in Cardiff, and this is the first of our new webinar series, which has been designed for small businesses, small business owners, to get practical, hands-on help with their digital marketing. The plan for each of these webinars is to keep them around half an hour long. We're going to keep them really short so that you get advice and tips and ideas that you can then take away and implement on a Monday morning in your business, and let's get our businesses going where we want them to be with our digital marketing. So, okay, so this is the agenda for the webinar. First of all, we just go through a little bit of housekeeping, and then I'm going to explain a little bit more about who I am and why I'm presenting this webinar, and then we're going to get straight into today's session, which is on Twitter. And we're going to look particularly at one aspect of Twitter and how to grow your followers using a strategy. It's been around for a while. We're going to cover it again tonight. And later on, I'm going to show you some tools that we use here to automate some of the functions that we do with Twitter. So first of all, let me just describe the webinar screen that you should be looking at now. You'll see the presentation I'm giving in the big area at the top, and then just below that, then there's a section underneath where it says "Got a question." So at the end of the webinar, we're going to have a Q&A session. So if you have any questions during the webinar, pop them into that little section there, and I will get them up on my screen here, and I'll be able to answer them. If I can answer them during the webinar itself, I'll do so. Otherwise, I'll leave it to the end at the Q&A session at the end. So that's the main thing. Also, if you can't hear me or you've got any problems with the broadcast, use that "Got a question" section there. And I'm not sure what I'll be able to do about it, but let me know anyway. So who am I? Well, my name is Russell Davis, as I said. My career started back in the sort of mid-90s. I got a degree in engineering from Coventry University, and then I went from there to working in a manufacturing company as a sort of product development engineer. I wasn't there very long. I decided to use my sort of computer skills and moved into computer-aided design, and then I went into software development and worked as a project manager and a training manager for a software company. But I was sort of building websites from the very start, really. When I left university, the internet had just started to take off. I got my first email address and remember surfing the first website in the sort of mid-90s, I suppose. It wasn't long after that I built my first website, once I figured out the technology. And I kept doing that sort of on and off. And then when I got the opportunity to start Lobster in 2004, I really just fell into building websites for people. And and one thing led to another, as most web designers do. You get referred from one to the other, one customer to another, and then after a while, you suddenly find yourself in business building websites. It wasn't long after that people started to be asking about other aspects of online marketing. So I had to teach myself very quickly on things like Google AdWords, and when Twitter and Facebook came along, I jumped onto those, taught myself a lot, studied a lot, read a lot, and over the years we've built hundreds of websites, and we've helped lots of businesses promote them online. The point we're at now, we're a small company. We still build lots of websites. We still do lots of social media. We still do pay-per-click for people. But it covers a wide range of different platforms. So we use Facebook, we use Twitter, and we use Google AdWords as well. So we cover a lot of different technologies, different platforms, and so on. And I also occasionally guest lecture at the Cardiff Metropolitan University. The business team there asked me to pop in occasionally and talk to their students about digital marketing, where that's going. I also do lots of other talks and seminars and so on. So that's me. Enough about me. Let's get on to what we're talking about tonight, which is Twitter. And we're going to look at one of the common strategies that people use to grow their Twitter followers. Gaining Twitter followers is sort of the holy grail, really, of Twitter. We all want to have lots and lots of followers, but how do we do it in a way that is right for our business, is going to get us importantly, we need to target the people that we want to follow us. So, depending on the type of business you are, you want a certain type of customer, and that is the real challenge with Twitter, because there's just so much noise on Twitter, is how do we attract the right customers to us? So there's three common strategies that people use on Twitter. First one's organic growth. So what I mean by organic growth is we create a Twitter account, we start posting some content, and over time, people will find you. You follow a few people, they follow you back, and then the content gets shared, and then over time, more and more people start to follow you. You could also use advertising, so you put your Twitter handle on all your branding or your literature, put it on your car, put it on your vans, put it on your signage, get it out there, and organically people will start to follow you. Now, that's an ideal way of getting Twitter growth, Twitter followers, but it's very, very slow. And you won't necessarily get the people that you want to follow you. People will follow you if they're interested in what you say. What I found with us is we get a lot of social media people following us, which is fine. I don't mind that, but they're not my target audience. We haven't quite got a product yet that I can sell to other social media people or marketing people. So, how do you get the right people following you? That's the real challenge. And with organic growth, yes, that might happen, but it's not guaranteed, and there has to be a better way of attracting the right type of people to you. So the other two strategies, well, the next strategy down is the paid Twitter ads. Now, it's only been a couple of years since Twitter launched their small business advertising platform, and we were one of the first Twitter users to get access to it. I've used it for a few clients. We've run a few campaigns for customers, and it does work. It's very extensive. You can do quite a lot with it. You can target people by the sort of people that they follow. So if you want to follow a particular type of person, so for example, one of the campaigns we did in the early days was we worked with a company that sells health foods, health products. So we targeted sports people, and we targeted the followers of those sports people. and it works well. It's designed to work, so it's a good way of doing it. But the downside is, of course, that it costs quite a lot of money. You're paying per follower, and that costs. And of course, if you're growing your follower numbers, then of course you've got to keep them updated with content and so on. So paid Twitter ads does work, and it's great, but it does cost a lot of money. The last one then, what we're going to look at today is the follow back strategy. People know this. If you've been using Twitter a while, you'll know this idea that if you follow people, then a certain number of those people that you follow will follow you back. So that's what we're going to look at in a bit of detail today, and I'm going to show you some strategies for finding the right type of people that you want to follow you. So the follow back strategy. So the rule of thumb is 30 to 50% of the people that you follow will follow you back. So if you follow 100 people, then somewhere between 30 and 50 of those people will follow you back. It's been around since the start of Twitter. It's one of the first strategies that businesses and people employed when they first joined Twitter. It didn't take long before people realized that as you follow other Twitter accounts, then they'll follow you back. There's several pros to it. You can grow your follower numbers very quickly this way. It's low cost. Your budget isn't a restraint, because it just depends on how much time you've got to use Twitter to find the people that you want to follow, and you want them to follow you back. You can target your ideal customers, and I'm going to show you how you can do that with some searches later. And then when you do get followers, and they're the right type of followers, then they are a potential lead for you. People will follow you if they're interested in what you're talking about, or interested in you as a business. So I think it's something that we forget. People who use Twitter forget that the followers that they have are potential leads. They're not just random people. If they're the right type of customer, then they are a potential lead for you, and it's worth just reaching out to them and saying, "Hey, let's talk, let's engage, let's grow a relationship here, and maybe you can buy from me." So don't forget that. The cons of the follow back strategy: it takes a lot of time. It can eat up a lot of your time if you let it. You need to be very strict about how much time you give to Twitter and how much time you donate to doing this. The number of accounts that you follow will grow very quickly, and it soon will outnumber the number of accounts that follow you. Okay, so you will grow the number of people that you follow, and you won't necessarily. You will outstrip the number of people who follow you back. Now, the problem with that is, so if you follow 100 people, as I said before, and 50 of them follow you back, you are following 100 people, and you're being followed by 50 people. Now, Twitter will put a limit for new accounts of 5,000 people that you follow. So as soon as you hit that 5,000 account number, then you will Twitter will limit you. You won't be able to go over that 5,000 unless certain circumstances happen. So the 5,000 limit is really key here. It used to be 2,000. They extended it a couple of years ago. Now the 5,000 limit depends on this follower to follow ratio. So the number of people that you follow compared to the number of people who follow you. Okay, so if that ratio is the wrong way or too close, then Twitter will restrict the number of people you can follow. So Also, if you follow, I think it's somewhere around, I think it's like 400 accounts in a very short period of time, then Twitter will block access to your account. You won't be able to follow anymore. So if you're very aggressively following lots and lots and lots of people, then you will hit these limits all the time, and it will get very frustrating. So you need to monitor how quickly you're doing this. Also, what you'll need to do is monitor how many accounts unfollow you after a few days. That's something that a lot of companies will do, especially if they're using automated tools like the ones I'm going to show you later, is that as they follow you, if you don't follow them back, then they'll unfollow you. But also, any accounts that unfollow you, you also want to unfollow back as well. So it gets very complicated trying to explain all the follows and unfollows. This 5,000 limit, another way to get past it is to make sure that you're posting regular original content as well, because that all helps to improve your reputation with Twitter. Okay. So strategies for the follow back strategy, the process of the follow back strategy. The first step is to post quality content. Twitter is, if you've used Twitter for a long time, you'll know that it's very transactional. It goes very quickly. If you're following a lot of people, then your timeline is ticking over constantly. If you sit on your timeline for a while, you'll see it's constantly churning content, and you have to think about the people who are looking at your content as well, who have you in their list of people that they follow, because you want to pop up on that timeline regularly. So with Twitter, unlike the other social media platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google Plus, and so on, Twitter, you need regular constant content, and that again is it's very time consuming. And I've got some tips to show you shortly on how you can do that. But you need to think about content, and it needs to be of a high quality as well. So some of the tactics that we use. Now I just need to switch my screen here quickly. Let me just switch to a different screen. Bear with me. Sorry, bear with me. Okay. Sorry, I've got my screens all mixed up here for a second. Nope, it's not a screen. The beauty of a live broadcast. Just bear with me a moment. I'm going to switch back to the other screen quickly. Right, okay. Sorry about that. I seem to have lost the screen that I had open, but we'll carry on. So the first option that I like to use is a site called Flipboard. You may be familiar with this. Flipboard's a great way of curating and collecting content. And it's sort of a kind of online magazine, if you like, and you can follow certain types of certain subjects. And some of the subjects that I follow are, one of them is the social media digest. Sorry, that's mine. Bear with me. Go back there. Here we go. Now we are. There we go. Social media marketing. So I follow a number of magazines, one of which is Social Media Marketing, and it's this one in particular is a great source of content for me, And it's nice because this Flipboard I can have on my phone, and I just scroll through the content that's curated by other people. So somebody will be managing, or maybe several people might be managing this magazine, this Flipboard magazine, and they are constantly adding new content to the Flipboard. So every day this is constantly updated, and I can just scroll through, and if I find a particularly nice article, I can use that then and share that to my followers across all my social media if I wanted to. But it's a great way of finding lots and lots of content, and you can have a number of different magazines. Like you can see here, I've got a number of different subjects that I like to follow. Marketing advice, and this one, neuromarketing, is very good. And so I can pick and choose from different subjects. So that's Flipboard. I recommend that if you haven't tried it before. Another one that's a lot of people are familiar with is StumbleUpon. You may have used this. Again, I find this a fantastic source of content, and we use StumbleUpon quite a lot to find content for our customers' accounts. Very simple process. You can use the search by different types of subjects. So if we chose marketing, and eventually it will come up with a random piece of content on marketing. There we go. Perfect. Right. 14 must-have metrics for digital marketing. So obviously you can read through that, and you can share that to your followers. And if you want to, you can just click the stumble button, and you move on to the next one. And you just keep going until you find content that you want. A tool that we've started trialing on our own accounts is one called Q. That's QUUU.co, and this is an interesting service. This is hand-curated content for your social media accounts. So there are people actually behind Q that are curating lots and lots of content, and then what they'll do then is they will automatically share that content out across your social media accounts. So we've got this linked up to our Twitter account, and it uses Buffer. So if you're not familiar with Buffer, I would recommend Buffer as well, bufferapp.com, because the Buffer app will automatically schedule posts for you. So Q will actually feed content through into Buffer, which will then get shared out to your Twitter account. Yeah, so what you do with Q is you just tell it what sort of content you want to post, and they are constantly hand curating content, and then they share that out across your social media account. So there's three very useful, very quick, very easy ways of finding quality content. Oh, and Q is actually free as well. So I think you only pay if you actually want to post content into Q. So if you are a blog writer and you want to get your content out there, Q's a great tool for that. And we're also trialing that on our blog as well, and I found that it's actually just worked very well. So let's get back to here. So that's how you can find quality content. Obviously, you can post your own as well. You can create your own content and post that. So that's the first step. Okay, step number 2 is finding the people to follow. Okay, so this is where we need to find the interesting people that we want to follow, and then hopefully 30 to 50% of those people will follow us back. So if we go into Twitter, So what we're going to talk about now is the search tools that we have available to us on Twitter. Now, most people, you're probably familiar with using the search. Up here, if you've used Twitter for any length of time, you'll have probably used the search at some point. So a typical easy search might be searching for the words for us. One of the target markets that we like to go for is business owners. So if I search for business owner and hit the enter button, and then it comes back with tweets then that are related to business owners. So you can see here, CNN post has the word Twitter owner in it. But I'm interested in the accounts rather than the actual tweets themselves. So I go into the accounts tab, and I can see here it comes back with list of people who call themselves business owner. Okay, so that's a very simple one. Now, it might be that the word sort of business owner, maybe perhaps the word business and the word owner are separated on the bio here. I'm trying to look for an example of one. So if I want to be a bit more specific about the phrasing, then I can put quotation marks around the words that I want, and then that will make sure that I'm searching for the phrase business owner rather than the word business and the word owner in the bio. Okay, so that's a very quick search. Now, if I wanted to, I can be a bit more. I can expand on that a little bit more. So perhaps I want to search for the word owner, or perhaps entrepreneur. Okay, so I'm looking for business owner or entrepreneur in the bio. There we go. So a different list. There's entrepreneur. So look who we've got here. Owner club. So it's brought back quite an interesting mixture of people. So we're getting there. You know, we're starting to find people that are a little bit, it's still not quite right though, practical boat owner. So we need to be a bit more specific. So what about, let's say we search for the word entrepreneur and see what comes up then. Oh, I spelled it wrong, that's why. There we go. That's why the list didn't come back as I expected it. Okay, so there we go, entrepreneur. So okay, we're getting there now. But one of the things that you might want to do is to stop certain bits of content coming up. So you can see here we've got, let's say for example, Richard Branson's a good one. So if I didn't want, say, the word Branson to appear in to be used in my search, then I can put a minus and then type in Branson. Branson. There we go, and that hopefully that will take out Richard Branson. Let's go scroll down. Okay, so there again, you see he's missing now. So that takes out anyone who refers to Branson in their title entrepreneur. So you can start to see how you can use the negative keywords in your searches to filter out certain content, and that can be very useful depending on the type of search that you do for making sure. So, for example, if you're a printing company, for example, and you don't want to. Sorry, if you're targeting printing companies and you want to avoid people who sell printers, then negative minus printers might be a phrase that you would use in your searches. You have to try it and see if that works. Another way to search and find people on here is to use hashtags. One of the hashtags that we target is biz retweet. and you can put that in with just RT is one of the ones that we target. So again, you can search for accounts, or you can search. So there's people there, look, who are using the hashtag BizRT, and you can just go through those, and you can have a look at the tweets that have been posted with that phrase, because they will, for us, those are businesses, it's business owners that use that hashtag. So if your target audience uses a particular hashtag, then you can target those hashtags. Okay, let's have a look a bit more. Let's get a bit more in depth now. If we start looking at person-related searches, so if we want to find threads by a specified Twitter user, for example, we'll go back to using Richard Branson earlier. So I can look for tweets by Richard Branson by using the word from, and then colon, and then his Twitter handle, which is Richard Branson. It's spelled with a D for some reason. Okay, so that would be exactly the same as if I just clicked on his account and just looked at his timeline. But maybe I want certain tweets from Richard Branson. So, for example, any reference to Galactic. This will be looking for tweets that say the word Galactic from Richard Branson. Okay, so there you can see all the tweets, recent tweets, where he's referred to his Galactic, obviously his Galactic spaceship. Okay, so that's a useful way of searching for content. So then the other way around to do that is if people have been speaking to Richard Branson. So if I want to know who is it that's engaging with Richard Branson, right, about his Galactic spaceship. So this could be useful if you, for example, if you sell a particular type of product. Let's say, for example, you are a pet supplies company, or you manufacture some sort of pet supplies item. Say you manufacture dog collars, for example, and you know that there is a celebrity dog trainer who's very active on Twitter, and you maybe one of the phrases you could look for would be recommend. Say you look for the word recommend a dog collar, and you target that person. So you would see then, you start to see then people who are asking that celebrity dog trainer for recommendations of dog collars. So there's lots of ways you could use this. Once you start to get your head around the semantics there, then you can start to see how these sort of phrases start to get quite powerful. Okay. So that's useful for sort of wide-ranging searches. What about if you're a local business and you want to find people who are near to you, who would be interested in your products? So we need to start using geolocation searches. So, for example, go back to us, a phrase would be business. So anyone who mentions business or has business in their bio, but I want people who are near to us here in Cardiff. So I'm going to type in near Cardiff. Okay. But we'll find people who have referred to that word business, who are actually near Cardiff. Because of course, Twitter on your phone, and on if you're a Chrome user, if you're using your browser with your location settings switched on, then Twitter will know where you are when you post a tweet. So it's geographically targeting people now who are in Cardiff who have used the word business. So you can see there it says business. There's another one. Ben Black has mentioned the word business. So you can start to see people who are using certain phrases. Now, Cardiff might not be a big enough area. Maybe I want to spread a little bit further a field. So I can say within, so I can add this to the end of my search. Within, again, colon is important, 10, and then use MI for miles or KM for kilometers. And it will widen my search further still. Okay, and then obviously I can use accounts, and I can find people who are businesses, business owners, people who are in business. There we go. Who are in the Cardiff area within a 10-mile radius. So that's very useful. If I wanted to limit this to the whole of the UK, then I need to be a little bit cleverer. So there's another way of doing this. Let me just grab, because I'll never be able to type this in myself. Let me just grab and copy and paste this into my clipboard. Okay, so very much the same as what we've got here, but I'm going to use the phrase geocode instead of near. So if I paste this in, you'll see it. Right, let me just scroll here. So we've got business, that's the word phrase I'm going for, geocode, and then a longitude and latitude. Now that longitude and latitude happens to be I think it's a pub in the northeast of England. And the reason I've put it there is that is the geographical center. If I drew a circle that encompassed the whole of the UK, then that point is the dead center of that circle. And then I'm drawing a 500-kilometer radius around the UK. So I just about cut across the coast of France, I think, with this geographical limiter. But what it does is it means that it just forces Twitter to limit all my posts to just the UK. So again, I'm looking for people who have used the word business in tweets who are in the UK. So it's a great way of filtering out any that might be coming from overseas. So there's a few useful searches. Now, another way you can limit it is by date. So for example, again, I'll use business, and I'm going to use a date control. So it says since, and then you have to do it backwards, the date. So it's 2016, and then a dash, and then let's say where are we now? So start of the month, so 03-01. So the start of March 2016, people who've mentioned business in their tweets. So again, I can keep it current, and you can combine all these different searches as well. So you could end up with a very long string if you wanted to. But once you've got it in there, as you see, you can actually save your searches to come back to later. So here we are. We have so that's tweets mentioning the word business since the start of March. Another different approach, maybe we can search for people who are posting links. So perhaps we want to find some good, useful content that we can repost to people. So we can use the word business, and then we can use the phrase filter. Filter, and again that colon, and then links. So I'm just looking for people who posted tweets with the word business, but are linking to other content. So there we go, straight away. There's a link there. Might not be relevant, but there's a link. There's a link there. So there's a link there. Download now, and so on. So that could be useful finding content you could repost. Now, one of my favorite types of searches is using the word recommend. And I do this because I like to find people who are asking for recommendations. So using the quotation marks, I type recommend A. Okay, so I'm looking for people who are saying, can anyone recommend A? And then I'll do near Cardiff within 10 miles. So I'm looking for people who are saying, can anyone recommend a something within 10 miles of Cardiff. Let's have a look what we've got up here. Been able to try on one dress, super busy at the national wedding today. If anyone here can recommend a budget stand, that would be great. So there's somebody looking for cheap wedding dresses. Somebody's asking for antivirus software. So, you know, I could always email them back and give them my recommendation if I wanted to. Somebody here looking for someone to transfer videos, old videos into digital and so on. So that's another way of finding people that need your help. Excuse me. Okay. So there's a few ways of finding people. And you follow them, and then obviously 30% of those people will follow you back. Okay, so how do we automate this work? Because this is very time-consuming, very intensive work. So how do we automate that work? So I'm going to show you a couple of tools that we use. One of them is called Narrow. Okay, and on Narrow, if I log into Narrow, you'll see how this works. Basically, you put in the searches that you've already come up with. So business owner in the bio, business coach is another one that we're starting to look for, business consultant, so on. There's a geocode that we used, entrepreneur, business owner, and we also do based in South Wales as a phrase. So if somebody's got based in South Wales and they're accountant, they're probably a business, because usually they say, I am a such and such business based in South Wales. And you can see here the number of followers that phrase is generating for me, and the conversion rate. So that Narrow is a great little tool. We started using it about a month ago, and I'm finding it's really helping us grow our Twitter followers, but it also will unfollow people who unfollow you as well. So it keeps within the limits that Twitter insists on. So that's a really, really useful tool for making this process a lot easier. I recommend Narrow to you. Okay. There we go. Right. So if you found this webinar useful, one thing that I would recommend is courses from the Shore Academy. And you can see some of the courses that we've picked out there that we're recommending. I've just finished the digital marketing course myself, found it very, very, very good quality. And we've got a number of courses on our page here, lobsterdigitalmarketing.co.uk/training courses, and you can see there's 6 different courses that we've handpicked there for you to have a look at. If you want to improve your social media marketing, then I can highly recommend the courses provided by Shore Academy. They've got other courses as well. There's a huge range of content that you can try out there. Our services, if you're interested, we do website design, we do hosting and management, we do social media marketing for people, we do pay-per-click management for people, we do email marketing, and you can get a free SEO audit as well on our website. So if you go to lobsterdigitalmarketing.co.uk, help yourself to a free SEO audit on your website. You get to see where your website might be not quite up to scratch in terms of Google and the search engines and so on. So that's it from me. Thank you for joining me. We're going to do these webinars every week. Today's was a bit longer than I expected it to be, so we'll try and shorten it for next week. But I hope you can join me then. The topic of which will be announced shortly, so keep an eye on our homepage to find out more, and you can register there for next week's as well. So that's the end of the main session. I'm just going to check, have a quick break and get some water for my tickly cough, and then I'm going to answer some questions as well. So if you want to stick around for that, then please do. I'll be back with you shortly. Okay, we've got a couple of questions. Joe's been asking, can you filter out retweets? Sorry, yes, I should have mentioned that one. Okay, so retweets, yes, again, it's a good question, because when you search for people posting tweets, you probably don't want to get overwhelmed with all the retweets. So if it's a very popular tweet, a very popular message, then you'll get a lot of noise, and it's quite hard to filter it out. So you can filter out, and I showed you the negative search phrase earlier. So for example, with let's pick what can we pick? I'll use business again. So if I use business and then use the minus, and just to filter out retweets, you literally just use the word the letters RT, and that will filter out any retweets in that phrase, in that search. We've also got a question. Can you limit the search to just the people that you follow? Yes, you can. But how do you do it? I've forgotten. Oh, there we go. That's it. So you can search here. So you choose more options, and it's from people that you just choose the option from people that you follow. Let me just remove minus RT, and there we go. I can just the people that I'm already following. I can limit. I can just search through them. So that's useful. That's useful where you want to hear what your followers, so the people you're following are talking about, and that helps with you. Then you can use their content to retweet. It's all about building relationships with people. So if you're following me and you retweet one of my tweets, then I'm going to notice you a little bit more, and that might help build that rapport between the two accounts. And once you start building a rapport, then of course, hopefully, then the idea is that then I will start retweeting your content more often. So it's all great. These are all great ways of finding content and finding connecting with people and retweeting their stuff. So those are the questions. Very short and sweet. Great. And I look forward to hopefully seeing you on the webinar next week. So thank you very much.